Hi, you're watching IBTV, Information Builders Television, with your hosts, Chris Banks, Melissa Trier, Jake Freevold, Peter Walker, and other special guests.
Good morning, Information Builders. Hey, I'm Chris Banks. We are live at the wonderful Rosen Centre Hotel here in Orlando, and I am here with my amazing co-host.
Thank you so much, Melissa Trier. Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another summit.
How cool is this?
2019, where does the time go?
I don't know. I don't know where it goes. Hey, I came into the hotel, I flew in yesterday, and I came in from this back door behind us, and you forget about all the locations that we've done this, how many years we've done this, but as soon as I walked in, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this hotel. We've been here, and we did it right here. And so it's been a few
years. It's been a few years since we've been here, but I did the same thing. I didn't walk in the back door, I walked in the front door. I'm not really sure why you walked in the back door.
Well, because they have me sleeping down in the basement. So, that's where the back door people have to go in, exactly.
But I felt the same thing. When I walked in the front door, we haven't been here in a few years.
It's been a while.
And immediately I'm like, oh, it's this hotel. This is a great hotel, and it's a great location, especially for Summit in hosting all of our customers.
It's a little humid here, though.
It is just a bit,
I think I'm sweating now, which is why I don't have a jacket on. I apologize to the audience.
I told him he looked fine.
But my wrists are sweating. That's how humid it is here.
Well, it's fine in the hotel, but as soon as you get into the elevator bank, it gets to be 105 like that.
Gets a little warm.
Yeah, just a little warm. So,
hey, before we get started,
yes,
I want to give some shout outs out to a few people.
Yes.
To any Information Builders employee that is not here, and you know who you are because you're probably watching, but the CSS people who are the core at making our customers happy, programmers, QA, developers, hotshot SEs that are in here that should be on stage. All of you people, payroll, accounting, thank you for everything that you do, because everything that you do is a result of us being here with these amazing customers and what they do. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that.
Absolutely.
Pam Zimmerman, I want to say hello to. I think she's here.
Yes, she is.
I haven't seen her, but I want to give her a shout out.
Look forward to seeing her, but yes, definitely shout out to Pam.
And the last one, our own Terry Cosentino.
Yes.
He was in the L'Hopital, right? He had I understand, a blood clot.
Yes. And
so we're hoping he's going to get out today.
Fingers crossed.
But, we're our thoughts and prayers to all those in the hospital with him. How about that?
Yes.
So hopefully you come on out.
So feel better soon, Terry. You need to take care of yourself.
Anyway.
Yes.
What did you do yesterday?
2019.
I didn't see you.
Here we are. So, wow. So I got in on Sunday. So the day started first thing Monday morning. It started Monday in the evening. So no, I got here. When did I get here? I got here Sunday. Did I get here Sunday? I got here Sunday. What day is today?
Oh boy. You're getting a little old there.
I know, right?
Okay.
We started a new session, and it was incredibly well received. It was very exciting.
And that was with prospects?
So we started an executive forum, and that started actually before the rest of the summit agenda, and a number of prospective clients joined us. Those that are currently evaluating us, looking at us for specific project work, and just making sure that we're going to be a proper fit. And what better way for them to really determine that is to come down and spend a few days with us, talk with other prospects, talk with other customers. So that was really the intent.
Awesome.
So we had a lovely dinner out with them, and followed by the next day a breakfast with some industry perspectives and a little bit about who we are and how we're different. But it was a really fantastic forum. So
I wasn't
that's how
invited
my
to the
time
breakfast.
Started.
I was at Denny's.
Denny's? I thought you do Waffle.
No, Waffle House.
Waffle House, I call it Waffle.
But there is no Waffle House nearby, so there is a Denny's a walk away.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Just saying.
Well, we missed you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
We missed you. So it was a fantastic way to start the summit and the sessions, and it really actually started even before any of the formal agenda began.
Tell me about your dinner last night.
So dinner last night, we have a number of analysts joining us. It's fantastic that we get such a great response from the industry analyst here, and a lot of them participated in their own sessions yesterday. So we have an entire track that's just industry trends that's delivered by the analysts that are here with us. So we hosted them at a dinner last night with some of the other executive team, just to thank them for being here. It was a great exchange, great dinner.
Now, is that here on site?
Right here at the hotel.
What did you have for dinner?
So the night before, I had a filet. You can't do filet 2 nights in a
No.
row. It's tough, right? Not good for the body.
No.
So I had fish last night, and it was excellent. Very, very good. They do an excellent job here. The food is amazing. The hotel is amazing. The service is incredible. Everyone just goes above and beyond to make sure that we get everything we need.
I
and
totally
more importantly,
agree
our
with
customers
you.
get everything that they
And
need.
you know I'm very honest, and I don't normally agree with you. So while you were doing your dinner, we had our partner, I wouldn't even say it's a partner pavilion because there was a lot of things being showcased.
Yeah, our solutions pavilion.
Solutions
Yeah,
pavilion is a
overall.
better word for it. But we had some partners in there as well, including AWS. But I was walking throughout that and meeting and greeting. Got to talk to some great folks from Food for the Poor, from AutoZone. But the food, I've got to tell you, was really good.
Really good.
Yeah, they had this great risotto. I thought of you actually because Steve makes
I
risotto,
love risotto,
right?
yeah.
But they had some really good food, and you had your choice between filet as well and chicken marsala, and there was a white fish, and it was great. It was really good, and a lot of good networking going on. So
Fantastic.
yeah, that's what it's all about,
It
right?
really is. It really is. So, what else did I do yesterday? We had a number, and we do throughout the conference. We have a number of one-on-one meetings. We call them red carpet exchanges with some of our strategic customers, and even some of those prospective customers. I actually have a meeting right after we're done here with a prospective customer that came down to join us for a few days. So it's a wonderful time just to carve out 1 hour, sit down, dedicated team, dedicated conversation. So a lot of those meetings are going on throughout. So I have a lot of those lined up for the rest of today as well as the rest of the agenda through Friday. But it's fantastic. Our customers really do make a huge effort to be here with us. And when you think about a prospective customer, one that's not even a customer yet, and them taking 3 or 4 days out of their time, it's a tremendous. Well, first, it's a tremendous sign that they want to become a customer, but we really appreciate everyone and the opportunities that they provide us here. So.
And what better event to have them come to, right? Because here we've got, and I can't use a better word than amazing to describe them because they do amazing things with our technology, but our amazing customers, and to meet and greet and find out, like, what's the truth, you know? This gal, Melissa Trier, said this, but is it true? And yeah, absolutely it's true. And you get to really meet the people that are using our technology in such a great way. So.
And I think the other thing about the customers that just always continues to amaze me, and I have the privilege to do the customer panel on the Keynote today, so I'm really looking forward to that, and we can talk about that in a minute. But it's just the breadth.
I feel like you're bragging
and depth.
that you're going to be doing a keynote.
I'm not bragging at all. If you would like to do it, I would welcome you to do it if you'd like. But it's just the breadth and depth of our customer base across every industry sector, large and small. I mean, you mentioned it. Food for the Poor, it's a nonprofit here in Florida. AutoZone, a very large brand name company, and from all over the world, actually. And it's just so wonderful to connect with customers, you know, especially on those red carpet meetings. I could be with one customer that may be a mid-market company, and their issues are completely different from an AutoZone or a Citizens Bank or a State Street Bank, a bigger organization. And it's just wonderful and very rewarding to know that our solutions apply to all of them and can add value to all of them. So it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun.
So I want to throw you a curveball.
Oh no, I don't like these curveballs.
We're not doing what would Melissa say, but we've done this a number of years, right?
We have done it a number of years.
And we've got
a
keynote session coming today. We also have a keynote tomorrow.
Yes.
Are we allowed to say who it is? I think it's been
advertised,
yeah,
it's been
right?
advertised, and it's going to be fantastic, but please.
So our keynote tomorrow, which is an outside speaker, is somebody that we had the pleasure of meeting and greeting and interviewing here on IBTV, but internally, is John Foley, right? Who is a former Blue Angels pilot, but motivational speaker. He's incredible, and definitely tune in for that. It's so well worth it. In fact, I follow him on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm linked into him, but I love
so inspirational, right? Uplifting and positive.
And he posted something earlier today, and I just thought it was a great article about leaders and leadership, and I love it. I just love the guy, and he's so upbeat and positive, both on and off the camera, which is what blew me away back in January when we first met him. But my question for you is, all these years that we've been doing the show together, who's been your favorite keynote that we've had?
Oh, well, you know what I'm going to say.
I don't know what you're going to say. I want to hear what you're going to say.
Come on, you definitely know what I'm going to. Look at that smile. You know what I'm going to say. Of course, I'm going to say Johnny Bench was my very favorite. That
and tell us
wasn't
why.
at a summit necessarily, but it was at Sales Kickoff. For those of you who may not know that are joining us from outside the firewall, Chris and I do IBTV for our internal audience kickoff every year. That we have an annual kickoff meeting. We bring all of our sales folks in globally, typically in Florida at the end of January. And we were fortunate enough several years ago to have Mr. Bench join us for our keynote.
That was in Jacksonville, right? Amelia
Incredible.
Island?
It was incredible.
Yeah.
He was incredible. Just like John Foley, a quality individual, a wonderful guy. And as a matter of fact, I have a surprise for you. So we were talking about through the years and all of the amazing work that we've done.
Yeah.
Because we have been doing this for quite a while. So I'm going to just like flip through.
Oh boy.
But
So
here,
one of mine's coming
here
up. So this is
John Foley. So this was with us and John in January of this year when John joined us for our sales kickoff meeting. Like Chris said, just a fantastic, amazing. His hashtag is glad to be here. Glad to be here. And we really have adopted that hashtag internally within Information Builders.
And I'm really happy that he's going to be back
today,
tomorrow to speak to our customers,
Yeah.
because I think they'll get a lot of value
out
of that.
But
So I'm going to tell you who my favorite is, and I think you've got a picture
I
of
thought
him.
that we had one of Johnny, but I don't think we do, unfortunately, because I thought we did. So go ahead. Oh, yes, we do. Here he is. This was us with Johnny Bench.
You know, I was a little intimidated with Johnny Bench because he has
Why were you
big
intimidating?
hands. He could hold 7 baseballs in his hand. That was his big thing back in the day.
Well, there's a picture of him, right? And it was long before Photoshop.
Yeah.
Right. The photographer that you are, you don't think it was Photoshop?
No. You could see his hands in the picture. They're massive.
Look how happy I am to be sitting next to Johnny Bench.
I was too.
Not that I'm not thrilled to be next to you every single time we're on air.
She's not. But
But since you asked, this was our amazing, and I'm trying to think when this was, Chris, but it's been at least 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But for those of you who may not know, I'm an Ohio native, grew up following the Big Red Machine back in the 70s, and you're a huge baseball fan.
I am.
So
well,
it
I'll
was
tell you
just
what,
a fantastic
and I'm not
experience.
so much a huge baseball fan now. When they went on strike a couple of decades ago, they kind of lost me as a fan. But that being said, in the 60s and 70s, I was a huge baseball fan, and he was one of my idols growing up. So it was beyond a pleasure to have met him and talked to him in the green room, just he and I, and he was awesome. And we had dinner with him,
We
right?
did. We had the pleasure of having dinner with him.
Yeah.
He was just such a gentleman, and it was really a highlight, I think, for both of us
I think
in
so
our
too.
Information Builders career to have the opportunity to meet with him.
He was a cool customer,
He was
man.
really fantastic. And another wonderful guest that we've had along the way.
And I think that's who I want to mention.
So go ahead.
Oh, you got a bunch here. It's that guy.
Yeah, so
one
let's
of
talk
my
about him.
favorite. And Johnny, you know what? Now you got me hemming and hawing about whether or not he is my favorite. But Lee Corso, we had the honor of having Lee Corso speak, and I think that was an internal meeting as well, right? But one of the things that, it was funny, I was showing you an article on Lee Corso recently. If you're not familiar with Lee Corso, he's a sports caster, I guess, right? But he's known for game day on Saturdays in college football. I'm not a college football guy, so I didn't even know who Lee Corso was when we found out he's going to be on the show, because I'm like, I don't watch college football. What an amazing speaker. He was all about integrity. He was all about having character and not being a character. And I'll never forget that.
I know either.
What a gentleman. We had him up on stage as well, and it was cool.
It was wonderful.
Cool. So what else do you have in your magic folder?
So look at this. So
I'm looking at all the outfits that I was wearing.
Through the years, I know, and I'm like hoping that I don't have any repeat outfits on, neither of us.
I always check.
And I'm just going to say it right now, we haven't aged a bit. Ha ha. So what was this? Do you remember this?
Jacksonville, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is a Jacksonville
mascot
of Jacksonville.
The Jaguar.
Yeah.
No, is that a Jaguar?
I don't think so. I think it's like a panther or something. I don't know. What's the Jacksonville?
You know what? I take that back. I think that was in Dallas. Could that be at Dallas?
Yeah? I don't know. We don't know. But here's us with a mascot. I don't remember when. So we have been doing this for over 10 years.
I've been doing it longer.
I know, you have been doing it longer. So to that point,
I
when
had
did
that
you
other
start
guy.
doing IBTV?
I had that other guy as a co-host.
Yeah, and here's you. And again, we haven't aged a bit.
People always ask me, when did your hair turn white? I think did we do that on TV?
It looks, yeah,
With the
look at
puppet?
this. So Chris has puppets. And
Chris
very
has
much,
issues.
and you do a very great job with puppets. All the voices and everything, but what puppet was this?
Well, I don't know. I think that's when we did a video.
Yeah. It was the Swedish Chef, right?
Yeah.
So,
Go figure.
Yeah, so that was an excellent one.
Look how I've transformed though. I wasn't wearing any ties. Then I had regular ties.
And so look, this is you with a regular tie. This is one of our first IBTV broadcasts.
I'm not sure if I like that jacket. Not too sure about that. I don't know.
We're babies.
We really are.
We really, and again,
Today's
we
show has
haven't
tried
aged-
poaching us a few times, especially after the Matt Lauer incident.
Yeah, they
So-
really wanted us to come on, but
they're going a different direction
so
now.
and last year, here's another one, but here's what would Melissa say? You always do
That's
that.
one of my favorite segments.
But we're going to take a break from that.
Well, we don't have time.
So I'm really glad that
We'll do that at
we are.
kickoff.
So here was our guest last year at Summit.
I want to say Sundance Head.
Sundance Head.
Who won?
The American Idol. And he
Wonder how
was
he's doing.
nice enough to join us as an opening act or part of this session. I think it's wonderful this year that we're kind of splitting up the keynotes, and John Foley's going to be joining us later this week. But Sundance was, again, such a lovely, lovely person.
In fact, were you there? No, I saw him in the elevator as he checked in. I was taking the elevator up with he and I believe his son at the time. And just a real nice guy, and what a beautiful voice he's got, and he rocked it for us, right?
He did rock it, and he was really nice.
What tie was I wearing there?
You have a bow tie on
some
there.
of these ties.
And so here's and this is it. This is the last one. I'm not sure. This was from a couple of years ago.
Well, that's a nice one, too.
Yep. So thankfully, I haven't repeated any outfit. Oh, actually, I have. Oh no, this is the same. So this is the same broadcast. See,
I was
going to
say, I'm wearing the same tie.
Yeah.
And I'm
So
like,
this was the same broadcast.
Oh, good.
So thank goodness we haven't repeated any
others?
Nope, that's it. But it's like through the years.
I feel very uncomfortable now.
I had Chris Boylan, our producer, pull some shots from us over the years.
No, they're great.
It's really amazing.
But
That
we've had some
so
cool
much fun.
keynotes.
We
but
really
this
have.
guy, we're going to be seeing tomorrow. Tune in if you're watching from the outside, because he's so well worth listening to. And he's I was going to say he's the real deal, but he really is, because what you see on stage is what you see in person.
Yeah.
And just a real gentleman and motivational.
Yeah, we're glad to have
person.
him back. Yeah. So
Holy
let's
cow!
talk about
Let's talk about
Summit.
traveling down here.
All right. You always have great travel stories.
I really don't, but here's my latest pet peeve. What happened to using headphones? What is with people taking their smartphones and watching videos?
With no headset?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh my gosh, there was a guy older than me sitting in front of me on the way down, watching, like I'm hearing the Austin Powers music going on.
Did you kind of ask him to put his headset on?
No,
Yeah,
I don't.
it's hard.
Because
it's hard
then
to do
once
that.
I crossed that line, then there's no going back.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And he might eventually shut it off, and then we took off, and it wasn't an issue. But I had something recently. We were Mother's Day flying home and from Florida, and some woman gave her under 2-year-old kid an iPad with no headphones. And why am I listening to this? Drives me crazy.
We spend a lot
Use
of time on
headphones.
airplanes, so I mean, we're bound to run into some issues from time to time.
We're running out of time, but I
Yes.
do want to give a plug. So we ran it. I spoke to Eric Toohey, who is the VP of IT at Swisher International, one of our customers, and they actually have an opening. And they're looking for somebody who not only knows web focus, but somebody that could be a liaison to their business community, to their business heads and evangelists internally. If you're interested, I believe up on Focal Point, Tony Maldonado had posted something up there. Swisher is an amazing company. They are a cigar and other things manufacturer based in Jacksonville. If you're interested, take a peek at that,
Yeah.
because it's a great opportunity for somebody.
Great organization, great company.
Yeah, so I want to give them that. Hey, tell me a little bit about
What
what
we're
you're
about
going
ready
to
to
be
see?
what you're going to be doing up on
Yeah,
stage. You
it's going to be,
specifically.
I think, a great keynote that we're going to have. So I mentioned earlier, we're going to focus on some of our customers. So it's absolutely going to be such a privilege to have 3 of our customers as part of a panel, customer panel, a little bit later in the keynote.
Can you share who those 3 are?
Yes, well, Swisher International, Eric's going to be joining us as one of those customers, and we also have York Regional Police, a police organization from Ontario, Canada, who
Awesome.
has done some amazing things with our technology. Had fortunate enough to join them and speak with them at dinner last night. And then Rosnet, which is one of our partners that we work with, and they've embedded our technologies, WebFocus, into a SaaS application that they in turn sell to their customers.
So
Restaurant
some of their
chains,
customers, yeah,
very
include,
popular customers.
Sizzler. I always laugh at that.
Sizzler?
Because I haven't been to Sizzler. I didn't think Sizzler was still in business. But they have a lot of restaurant chains, including Dunkin' Donuts.
Yep. So we have 3 really, again, wide variety, which I think is fantastic when you really talk about the strength of the platform and what we offer. Everyone doing very different things, so we're going to be highlighting those and working and talking with
All right,
those.
we're about to kick it off.
So yes.
Stay tuned, guys. We're going to come back after the keynote, but stay tuned, watch. We've got some great presentations coming up. Excited about today. Excited to have you watching. Stay tuned, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, guys. See you in a bit. Enjoy.
Wow. I'm mesmerized. What a wake-up call. Thank you for that. Welcome. Welcome to the future of data and analytics. The future. We hear so much about it. What is it? What does it have in store for us? But I think more importantly, the question is, how do we prepare ourselves for whatever it holds? Is it artificial intelligence? Is it machine learning? Last year we heard about IoT and blockchain processes. All of these are relevant. And how you set your business up for success in that environment is what we're going to talk a lot about at this conference. Hello and welcome. This is our 40th gathering of users. 40 years of customers for information builders getting together to learn, collaborate, and network. My name is Frank Vella, and for the first time in our history, someone other than a founder of this company is the CEO, and I'm proud to be here in that role. It's an honor. It's an honor to talk to the customers that have been loyal and have been here for a long time. It's humbling. It's humbling to succeed the great founder that Jerry Cohen and his partners are and were. It's amazing to be working with a great team of people that have built what we have in this organization. And I'm committed to extending that legacy, the greatness that is here, by building upon what we have. We have 1,000 people in the room here today, and we have approximately another 1,000, or at least up to another 1,000 employees watching IBTV and streaming this across the globe. So to those employees who couldn't be here, thanks for keeping the lights on, thanks for keeping our customers supported and the business rolling. And thanks for our IBTV hosts who always make us look good. So we have employees. Employees help facilitate what's going on today. They make this company the customer service-centric organization that we are. But our ecosystem, the community that thrives and drives what is going on, is comprised of many constituents. We have new customers. I had the pleasure of talking to several of them yesterday. And what's really contagious is the excitement these new customers bring to the forum. They're thrilled about the support they're getting from us. They're thrilled about how their applications are adding value in their organizations rapidly. And something unique about this first set of customers to our summit is that many of them come to us as cloud customers. 1 year ago, I stood here and said we were going to launch a cloud offering with our partner AWS, but we didn't have an enterprise cloud offering, and today we do, with dozens of customers running our full platform as a service. Thank you for those new customers. We have existing customers. Again, if you're new here and you introduce yourself to anybody, it won't be too long before somebody says, oh, this is my 12th summit. This is my 15th summit. I was a user before there was Summit 40 years ago. That's what's represented here. Loyalists who have built careers on Focus and Web Focus, and now our entire stack, and we thank them. We thank those people for their business. We thank them for their loyalty, and we thank them for their trust. As well in the audience, we have partners. Now, we've always had partners as an element of our ecosystem, but we're doubling down our investment in partners. As we look to the future and we scale, having an ecosystem of partners and agents globally that represent us as we'd represent ourselves, partners that we would be as proud to call employees, are something we're really investing in, helping them grow their business on our business with a customer-centric solution platform. And so, thank you to the partners who are investing with us and here today at this conference. And finally, thank you, partners. Yeah. And finally, we have analysts. We had a great day with the analysts yesterday. One of the most important reasons of bringing analysts or inviting them to the show, and we're honored that they're here, is so that they can interact with you. They learn from you, but just as we learn from them, you can too. Now, they've been presenting through yesterday and today, take advantage of that access to what they view as the core tenets or the future of business and analytics. So together, this group of employees and customers, partners, agents, and analysts make up the community that represents your interest and expectation of us. We're listening. What you say and what you feed back does influence our roadmap, our product roadmap, our R&D innovations, as we chart and plot the next 40 years of information builders. And so, please share with us through this forum, besides the learnings you get, provide us the learnings we should take from this conference as well. So, we call this conference Experience the Future of Data and Analytics. It doesn't say, let's talk about the future. It says, let's experience it. That's an important element of what we want to expose today. We've been working on a lot of great, cool stuff. Great, cool stuff that impacts your organization's ability to be prepared for what the future holds. And you're going to see how we've incorporated elements of machine learning and artificial intelligence in our innovation stack that makes our software more robust and easier to use. As you look at the future, and we're going to talk all about things like ML and AI, I think we have to prepare ourselves for what we don't know. And how do you prepare yourself for what might come after ML or what the real deployment of these technologies is? Well, the right architecture is always a great start. The right architecture and dealing with a partner, and I know that many of you think of us as a partner, not a vendor, working with a partner that's building a stack that understands that data is a prerequisite for anything that the future might throw at us. And so how you architect and how you build a platform that presumes that data is at the core, a platform built for scale and flexibility and customization, these are the important things that will enable us to have the staying power to be relevant to you and your business as we go forward. Start addressing these. Where do you engage on this journey? And I think knowing a little bit about the company you're doing business with, at our core, who we are, the core tenets that we bring to work every day that shapes everything else, is a little bit important. And there are a few things we're proud of. We're proud of the results from crowdsourcing. Analysts have crowdsourcing arms, and they go out and they poll you and they ask you what you like and what you don't, and what works and who's the best. And we score disproportionately high when our customers are polled. And when we ask why, the reason is because we're not a tool, because we build solutions with you. We have people in this audience who are running focus-based applications on a mainframe today. Why? Because it's important to their business. So what do? We support that, and we innovate with them. Yeah. We have a president's community of our user group that has a lunch today, and those constituents help shape some of the newer innovations that we have. And what you tell analysts that you love about us is our staying power. The solutions we build with you get deployed more than industry standard. They get deployed more because those applications get distributed to many constituents throughout the business. And so this is something we need to keep core to who we are. As we look at what others do in the field, and we look at startups that come into the market today and leave tomorrow, we know that that's not who we want to be. Because if you've looked at any quadrant or report, you will see that people come and people go. And people don't build software to endure the legacy of your applications and stick to it as a solution like we do. And so as I look to the future and as I think about what we build and how we build it, this is really important. And you say that. So thank you for the feedback. What else are we proud of? In the first quarter of this year alone, these are some of the awards we got. We're proud that every quarter we get a series of new recognitions and awards. And as much as I like walking through our foyer or our reception area looking at those pieces of glass and trophies, what's really important is what we learn and what you say about us. There's a lot of change that's going on at Information Builders, and many of you have felt that. And for the most part, you've said it's positive change in our product, in our go-to-market. But as we look to change, we need to understand what needs to remain the same. And that is really important. You tell us that you love that we're a customer service-centric organization. When you build a company and things don't exist, you have to invent them. And I'd submit to you that Information Builders was doing what is today called customer success before any organization had a customer success organization. It's in our DNA. We have great people that you interact with that are part of that, but inherently in our cultures, what was built from our founders up was the understanding that if our customers succeed, we succeed. And there isn't a mountain we haven't moved to succeed with our customers that I know of in our current or past iterations. Something I greatly want to preserve as I bring new people and new process into the organization. You know us as an innovator, and we love getting awards for innovation. At our core, we're engineers, and we've innovated. And now we have to do a better job at some of the how, and we have to do a better job at some of the deployment aspects. But innovation is something you should expect from us or any partner that's going to embark on a future journey with you. And as Forbes points out, we're a great place to work. And we're proud of that too, because the great people that put on a great show and train you here today and are your account reps or your partner reps, those are the people that we are every single day. And so as a great place to work and a great place to be a customer, these are the core things that I keep top of mind for me and the organization every single day. Now, as I respect our heritage, but I push our organization to look to the future, how do I keep a pulse on that? Well, I think you know Jerry Cohen. He's a prankster. Jerry and I still talk almost every single day, at least when I'm not traveling. And we talk about what's going on in the business. We talk about, hey, if we want to incorporate this, what do you think? And it usually starts out with those people don't know what they're talking about and they don't understand us. And he's half right. And it usually ends up with the intersection of, and if they're going to get that done, Frank, I think this is what they need to do. So, as you see in the picture, Jerry and I do have fun. We are great friends. He says, Frank, I'm only the chairman. I'm like, Jerry, you're only the chairman and founder of a 40-year-old founder company, a founder-led company that's been in business and growing for a long, long time. You should be proud of that. We're proud of what you built, and I commit to extending your legacy, Jerry. And I know Jerry and Pam are here somewhere. And so Jerry's new role in the company is advisor to the CEO, and he gets to sit with me and coach me every single day, and I'm thrilled and honored at that. Now, when I say we hear you, we hear you. And as much as we love the accolades, and we publish those and walk our executive briefing customers through our wall of fame, we have heard you on some other things as well. We have heard you tell us that we need to be easier to upgrade. We need to be easier to deploy. We need to be easier to maintain. We understand that. We got it. Last year, the first thing I wanted to tackle was ease of use. As the market changed around us, what I saw was that as we focused on what is really important, scale, handling complexity, stick-to-itiveness with your applications for as long as they're relevant to your business, all the things that make us enterprise grade, we could have done better on the look and the feel, on the usability. And what that turned into is many of you are loyalists saying, hey, Information Builders, I'm an advocate. I defend Information Builders in my organization. As new things emerge, they really are not enterprise scale, and they really don't understand what the importance of an entire stack means to the organization. And I get pressure, and I have to defend you. And to those people who felt they had to defend our look or our feel, I commit you won't have to do that anymore. We will emerge, and we have emerged, as a progressive player in this space that others will again compare themselves to. And thank you to my development teams for that. So as we extrapolate easy, and you know, in talking about the future, the first thing we need to do is address what I call the price of admission items. Whether it's things like security and GDPR, whether it's elements of our software, simplicity has to be at the core. And ease of use was a great first stepping stone. Our new release last October was well received. Analysts, press, customers who used our products said, this is where you need to be going, this is great. It no longer looks like a green screen app with a nice veneer. You have a great user interface that is intuitive and connects itself to everything it needs to connect to. And that's fantastic. But as we think about simplicity, we realize that easy as a functional core has to be easy to install and easy to connect, easy to deploy and easy to use, easy to scale, easy to manage, easy to upgrade, and easy to maintain. And if we do those things, and we're forced to do it in a cloud-first format, then we become the platform upon which any future endeavor is robust and relevant. Off to the future. So, we've got the foundation. You know who we are, you know what we do, and you're going to see a lot about how we do it. What's our vision of the future? What are the important elements of the future of data and analytics and what that means to your business? And why is it important? It's important to us because it informs what we build and how we build it. It informs what our R&D investments are and how we chart our path. And so, stepping back from whatever the buzzword is this year, and however that will evolve, what's really important for us to understand is the relationship between data and an organization, and how that's changing. Data and an organization used to have a relationship of one to few, or few to few. And what do I mean by that? Data resided in one or few databases, and that information was pulled and it was displayed or distributed in a report to a few users, managers, executives in a company, and they got to make decisions from that on a semi-regular basis, weekly, monthly, quarterly. And when that was the pace of business, and that was relevant to both you and your competitors, the risk of incomplete, bad data was mitigated by intuition and pace. That relationship is changing. And the only way I can describe it is to an infinite series of possibilities. And let me explain that. Data doesn't reside in one or two databases. It doesn't reside in 100 or 200 databases. It resides everywhere and anywhere. Data is not the issue, not the quantity of data at least. That's not the issue. The issue is the relationship between data and the organization has now spanned two. Data from an infinite number of sources that we don't even know what they might be next year and next month and next quarter. And it's gone from having to be distributed to a few people, to many people, to all people in an organization. But it doesn't stop there. It's many of your customers. It's all of your intelligent devices. And as machine learning and IA take hold, data and the relationship with your organization will extend to all processes and services in your organization. This is where artificial intelligence and machine learning will take hold. The ability to inform decisions, to limit the data sets to what's relevant to what you're doing and learning as you go, are going to be important. And as humans, we can make multiple decisions a day or an hour, but when machines are making hundreds of decisions a minute, you can see how the relationship between data and an organization becomes fundamentally a competitive advantage or a competitive disadvantage. And so, as data is no longer the problem, there are exhaust fumes of data coming out of every device and every process we engage in. Harnessing that data for value is what we think is a differentiator. And many analysts and pundits say the same thing. And the data shows that the average lifespan of a company is shortening, and it's shortening dramatically as the cost of entry is minimized, that the access to capital to start new endeavors is more friction-free and easier. People can enter into your space, harness the data that should be yours, and do something new and relevant in your space. And so you have to have that differentiator. You have to leverage data as the differentiator to your success. And with that, we understand why the journey starts with data and why we spend so much time thinking about data as a component of our business intelligence, our business insight stack. And so today's reality is simply this. Data is difficult to access. That's what we're talking about. Where is it? Is it complete? I need to get to it. And if I get to it and I put it in a silo or I put it in memory and it isn't real time, it becomes stale. And if it's stale, then I can't operationalize my business with the information that the business requires to make good decisions. It's not trusted. When I have this data and I want my entire organization to make decisions on it, I need to know that the sources are clean, that it has integrity. I need to know that it's governed. I need to know the lineage of that data. I need to know how to master it and govern it. And when I do, I can trust my data. But on the corollary, because I don't, tools are hitting the wall. The investments you're making are not being deployed. BARC says 17% of applications that engaged on what were supposed to be artificial intelligence projects got deployed. That's a pretty low number, and it's been consistent for a long time. And when you understand the relationship between data and the application, data and the organization, you can now see why deployment is low. BARC also says that Information Builders is one of the most widely deployed platforms out there, and it's because of this understanding. Now, we've been quiet about it because we're a humble organization that innovates and looks at how we do and what we do. But we're really exposing now our end-to-end platform that starts with your data and how you integrate data from any source. We connect to more data sources than anybody, and we always have. How you trust that data, how you get integrity from the processes that are really complex, and this is why people don't start here. You know, we look at projects that are failed, we look at projects in some cases that we lost 2 years ago and are re-invited to solve 2 years later, and what happened? They started with the tool. They started with the output, and it was too hard to go back here. There are too many ancient, antiquated, diverse data sources that make this difficult. And so you're going to hear a lot about us solving this problem. There's a product set we have called iWay. We've integrated the iWay business unit with the intelligence business unit, and so we are really working as one integrated platform. We always have, but we used the opportunity of change to bring everything under one leadership team in our engineering and development group. And so this is a perspective. This is our perspective. We're enthusiastic about our spot and our relevance in this dynamic environment. But I'm not a data scientist. I'm not a machine learning expert, but we happen to have some on staff. And there's, I'm going to say, I'm going to be politically incorrect because I'm going to show my age and say, and there's a kid I love talking to who has a lot of depth in this space. He's an in-house data scientist. He's been with us for about a year. I remember meeting him at new hire training. He's an alumni of a university in Canada called the University of Waterloo. If you're a technologist, you've heard of the University of Waterloo. And one of the things I'm proud of that Eric Robb, our head of product, has engaged in, because it's cool, is our partnership with the University of Waterloo to engage in an innovation lab. We bring their interns in, and we churn them through our offices every trimester. And so it's been a great, refreshing experience for us. We're back to having an innovation lab. I want to bring up Aditya. Aditya is an in-house data scientist. He's not, although he might look like one, not an intern. He's an employee. Let's hear from him what the future of machine learning has for us and for business.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Aditya.
that. Good morning, everyone. We have the ticker. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're enjoying Summit. So, as a data scientist, I've invested much of my time working on strategic projects across all verticals to help embed AI into BI as well as business processes. Now, I've been in practice for nearly a decade, and it's a pleasure to be here to address the convergence of AI with information management. Through this journey of research, academia, and industry, I have gathered and would like to share with you 3 trends of AI and how the discipline of AI is becoming a norm as well as reachable to all verticals and how that's embedded into the business process. First, decompose the level of complexity for prescriptive analytics. What does that mean? It means to use AI tools such that people who don't have the background in implementing AI, to provide them a platform that they can easily create and deploy models. Companies are now adopting these interactive AI tools to enable the constituents to create, deploy, and visualize machine learning models without the need to understand or learn code. This makes the process, of course, a lot easier and quicker. Now, I had the privilege of working with one of the leading healthcare institutions up in Canada. It's a healthcare firm, and they wanted to predict cardiac stroke volumes across their neighborhood. So it took roughly 2 to 3 weeks to derive the use case, to create tangible predictive learning models, and finally evaluate that model. Now, through that journey, the question we always wanted to ask was, what's the outcome of this? What's the business outcome? It is to use that predictive result and map it, such that decision makers in the organization can log into their dashboard, look at an interactive map, and see the number of cases of strokes they're going to be getting in a monthly basis. That's value. The second trend is to leverage the idea of recommendation engines to BI as well as data management. This means running AI in the background and providing the end user with content that's personalized to their fit. Think of it like your personal assistant. Now, there are 2 aspects to that. The first is the marriage between AI and data quality. How does that really work? It means AI can help locate as well as provide you insight on how to cleanse your data automatically. The second, once you have healthy data, is to auto-create BI content with AI running in the background, analyzing your behavior on how you're doing that historically. And finally, before I close off, using natural language processing for search to author BI contents. And this is new and this is exciting. What that means is to create content based on your search results, based on your search requests. For example, to interact with your dashboard, imagine you have a search engine and you type in queries such as, what's my cash flow going to look like for the month of June or July? To contextually understand what that means, to pull the appropriate data from your sources, and to auto-create BI contents in the format of a map or a report, that's the value-added component. And that would be to use the power of searchable AI for a smarter BI. Now, these are emerging trends, and over the course of Summit, you'll be able to get visibility into how we're addressing each of these core ideas. With that, I'd like to pass it back to Frank. Thank you all for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit. And thank you, Frank, for this opportunity. Appreciate it.
Perfect. Perfect. So, thank you, Aditya. You can see why I love listening to him talk. It is a lot like what we as information builders love to do. He's not a resident thinker. He's working with clients in his region on real business use applications, value from their data. And this is why we get deployed, and this is why we're sticky with applications that span the test of time, and this is why we don't abandon those applications with end of life or things that cause you great inconvenience. And so that's a real nice introduction to the blending of the past and the future at Information Builders. The next person I'd like to bring up to make it real and to show you some of the new developments. It wouldn't be a summit if we didn't showcase some of our existing and emerging technologies through a demo, is Joe Bobian. Now, Joe is our SE of the Year for 2018. Yes, congratulations, Joe. And I know it's early, and I know I've kind of lulled you to sleep, but I know Joe's going to wake us up. Joe, come on up and give us that demo.
All right. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, pal.
Appreciate it. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Summit. As Frank said, my name is Joe Bobian. I am a senior systems engineer based out of St. Louis, and I'm really excited to be able to showcase some of the new and innovative products that are coming into WebFocus right now. As a field SE, I work with some of the largest deployments of WebFocus in the world, right, with some of our largest customers. And I see on a daily basis the impact changes in our technology can have directly on you, the customer, right? And even your customers at times. Our goal today, and as it has always been, is to be an innovator with software, especially as it relates to scalability and to usability. And what do I mean by that? I mean more users, more data, answering more use cases, right? And being able to deploy widespread adoption of the WebFocus platform. So what do you say? We take a look. So this is the homepage. This is a starting point for authoring and consuming analytical content. What this preview is showing is how we're streamlining that homepage based on your direct feedback from the customers, right? Making it more intuitive, making it so more users can use this functionality by grouping content, in a specific way, around our data elements, around our visualization, whatever the user wants to do, we need to make it easier and faster for them to get to, right? So making it more intuitive. We're also arranging content based on the habits of that end user. One of the other things we're adding in here is a faster, more intelligent search so that you can get to the information you need right then and there, no matter where it resides, right? What we're also showcasing here today is our new data prep tool, right? We're bringing the capability of data prep into the hands of the business and the IT alike, right? This example right here is using two files from a bicycle rideshare company. One of them has 2 million records. And so what we're doing here is we're taking a statistically representative sample from that just to ensure high performance while we're doing our profiling. The data prep tool automatically profiles this data. It exposes relationship, it exposes and detects anomalies that affect our analysis down the road. In this example, what we're seeing is that if we click on something like user type and we look at subscriber, we want to be able to see that there aren't any subscribers in our Central Park South. This might be good information to understand before we start our analysis, right? So what we're doing here, with this approach, we are able to bring data prep accessibility to every level of the organization enterprise-wide. So let's talk a little bit about authoring now, creating content. When you open up Designer in the future, you're going to have a workspace for working with data. Okay? The power of our data, all of our integration points are now only a single click away. Using spreadsheets, click on that. Using spreadsheets, can be as easy as using enterprise-level data. It's going to provide you with a screen that has all of your different data elements. You have a nice workflow, as you see here. And then you're able to choose from which integration point you want to go from.
Joe, can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
So, sorry to pause you. I talked about in my keynote data, data integrity, data integration, data. And being relatively new myself to information builders and having worked as a consumer of other tools, I look at the instant access to databases that are legacy IBM mainframe, access to Salesforce databases, access to AWS web-based databases. Tell me a little bit about how we use this, the importance of this, and your interpretation as somebody who talks to customers of the value here.
Sure. So each one of these items represents an integration point with WebFocus. Each one of these is at your disposal. When you're telling a data story, do you want to be able to tell the entire story or the story around this set of data, right? With our integration, with our ability to take advantage of over 200 different adapters, right, we can provide the entire story, right? One of the other things that's overlooked quite often as well is that because we can integrate with each one of these individually, we don't have to single source data, right? So when you're building dashboards, when you're building documents, content, you don't have to bring everything into one place just to build that piece of content. We're building a dashboard, I want information coming from Amazon. I want some sales information coming from Salesforce, and I want some marketing information coming from SQL. And I want to bring those all together into one single page, right? That is a great value of the WebFocus platform and the WebFocus architecture. And all that's possible because we have all these integration points. Is that
perfect? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're very welcome. All right, so let's talk a little about actually authoring the content, all right? So authoring content is as intuitive as you would expect. But we're still streamlining, right, the user experience. Automatically sharing filters across content and laying out panels into a page when you add new and existing filters, all from a single interface, a single workflow. Right? That's where the future of design is going. But we can make this even easier, right? Can we make this even easier? We can make this even easier. What about being able to drive higher adoption by allowing end users to speak their queries, right? They want to be able to build queries using words. We'll automatically choose the best representation of a particular chart based on what you're trying to look up. So if you're doing time series, we're going to provide line charts. If you're doing categorical distribution, we're going to bring up a bar chart, right? There's intelligence built in to that query mechanism to give you the best representation of the data that you're looking for. But within these pages, we also don't want to be limited to just the static filters that someone designed for us, right? We build out these pages, I want region and I want store as my filters. Well, as an end user, I want some more flexibility, right? You'll get a much richer experience by interacting with the charts directly, right? Allowing users to highlight areas and then filter accordingly. This on-chart filtering that we're showcasing right here affects all of the content on that workspace. So you're able to make those behave just like you had canned and preset filters. So now, I hope you're getting excited, and you're seeing that this can add some definite value. We are excited. Thank you. But we all know that there's those individuals within the organization that they just don't simply have the knowledge, right? They don't have the ability to author content, or they don't have the desire, right, to author content. More importantly, probably, most times. How do we empower these users, right? How do we bring these users into the conversation? How do we make these people data-driven and self-sufficient? Well, here in the future, very soon, You're going to be able to upload a spreadsheet. You're going to be able to allow the platform to automatically generate content for you on the fly by uploading a spreadsheet, like I said, analyzing that data, and then by augmenting that analytical process, we're automating the content creation, and we're now empowering those users, right? So those users who would have otherwise given up are now contributing to that analytical ecosystem with a simple step process right here. So, all right, we've created content. We've automatically created content, we've created it by hand. What do we do with it, right? We've heard Frank say multiple times that embedding analytics into applications like Salesforce can triple adoption. The applications like SharePoint, like Salesforce that you're using every single day, you don't want to get out of those. We need to be able to embed inside of those. So our fully responsive portal can embed and look exactly like the application that you're embedding into, being able to put in secure predictive analytics, the search capabilities you saw, all the homepage functionality. So for anyone who's using a desktop or on mobile devices, because our entire platform is responsive, you're going to get a very good experience. And there's a lot more. So reporting has always been core to our innovation DNA. So what are we doing to innovate from a reporting perspective? Well, one of the ways we're doing that is we are bringing infographics into Designer, right? Being able to burst at massive scale these data-driven assets, these highly visual assets that allow for the visual communication of data to your end users, right? These truly are the next generation of reporting to the masses. Every single one of us gets these every single day, whether it be from Uber, whether it be from your airline or your hotel. Being able to deliver this type of summary level information to your customers on an automated fashion is a game changer, right? And so you can do that within the WebFocus platform. So if you can't tell, this stuff excites me, right? And it excites me because it's easy, right? It's intuitive. It's scalable. And by scalable, I mean we're able to do more data, enable more users, right, and answer more use cases. I really hope you have a great time at the rest of your summit. As always, we appreciate any feedback you have on what you've seen today, and I look forward to seeing you around the conference. Thank you.
Fantastic. Joe, thank you. I love when people like you get excited because you're talking to customers every single day. Now, I noticed Allison's money, she invested in all the accounts that are in your region. That's pretty cool.
She's a smart woman.
And if Joe wasn't excited, he'd be wearing the voice of the customer on his shoulders and telling us about it. And that's the intersection of our development processes. We really don't just innovate for the sake of innovating. It's relevant, it's deployable. There's another theme going on stage. If you've been on stage so far this morning, you come from a city that's going to win a championship in the next couple of weeks or days, right? St. Louis Blues, and Aditya's from Toronto. And nobody from Boston will come near the stage today, I guarantee that.
Thank you.
Thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you very much, Frank.
Good job, Joe. All right. On the path of keeping this real, and on the path of demonstrating what our customers, you, are actually doing with these products and these tools, or the manifestation of the platform into tools and applications, I want to do a couple of things. Michael Corcoran is going to make his way up to the stage momentarily, but as he does, we're going to roll a video of a customer who will be on a panel a little bit later, York Regional Police, so you can see in action what's going on out in the real world that's built upon the WebFocus platform. Roll the video, please.
When Greg Stanici began his career 17 years ago as a member of the Technical Training Unit, the systems we used to record and track important information looked a little different.
Our organization, like most police services, realized we were drowning in data. We then sought to design and develop a solution that would be unique to York Regional Police.
That solution needed to allow members of York Regional Police to make decisions not only supported by data, but also driven by data. Something that allowed members to be proactive in preventing crime and keeping their community safe. Putting BI tools in the hands of more than 2,000 sworn and civilian members wasn't easy. To get the job done, the unit added sworn officers to their team in order to better teach members on the road. These unique business intelligence tools have attracted the attention of police services worldwide. They have placed York Regional Police on the cutting edge of 21st century policing in North America. For developers, it's just a cluster of information, a name, numbers, and details on a screen. For citizens in York Region, it's a safer place to live, work, and play. And it's only the beginning.
I am very excited to see where business intelligence goes. We've often said that business intelligence is not a program with a start and a finish. Business intelligence is a new foundational product for York Regional Police.
As Frank points out, there's a lot of excitement about technology, and we continue to make data easier to access and more trusted. We continue to make analytics easier to use, create, and consume. But it really comes down to what do we do with it? What do you do with it? And that's what we really learn from the most, and that's always been in the foundation of the company. But we're on a journey, we're on a mission, and that's to educate people where to find the value of all of this. Because it's not in the places that they're looking. You've probably seen on our website this recent data and analytics at scale. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. You heard Frank talk about that in his session. Yes, we took a marketing campaign off the dying words of Mr. Spock in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. We went there. The reality is it's a very, very relevant statement to the state of data and analytics and what people do. Because when we talk about finding the value, people are looking for love in all the wrong places. 90% of all the activity in data and analytics is here. It's for the people who can use the tools, and Frank showed you, and Bark says it's about 17% of people in an organization. And the feedback from Gartner and Forrester and Dresner and Ventana and all the other research firms will tell you exactly the same thing. The adoption rate is still way too low. Because only certain people, as Joe pointed out, can use tools. And it will make it easier and easier for more people to participate in creating content, but more and more people need access to that content to make better decisions. We've got to get the adoption rates up. So creating insights is an important, valuable asset. Publishing that to management is also valuable for creating the highest level insight in an organization. But it doesn't change the bottom line very quickly. Because if your data tells you that your customers are unhappy and they're defecting at a rapid rate, okay, it's valuable to know that. What will management do with that insight? They'll change training, they'll change policy, and over the course of 12 to 24 months, we'll get better at that. And then we'll shorten our defections of customers. That's valuable, but it's too long. When we bring that down to the call center employees, and we saw this a few years ago at Nationwide Insurance, within 90 days, static levels for 50 years of customer complaints went down by 45%. That's really impressive, because the people who don't typically get to see it, once they're empowered, it has a dramatic change. Not at the end of a year, or 2 quarters, or 3 quarters. It happens immediately. So we are on a mission to make sure that in your organization, you're bringing this down to the operational workers. Everybody in your organization is a decision maker at some level. Bring that out to your business partners so that they act like employees. Let them know the metrics to help you meet your goals. They play a role in that. And that they have SLAs with you, but how well do you hold them accountable to that? Deliver it to them, okay? Because many of them just don't know how good or bad they are. When I see the changes in companies like Ford, it's driven by the independently owned dealerships and the mechanics, because Ford takes their data and they bring it out to those people around the world. The mechanics at Air Canada, right, also have a dramatic change in how that company performs and operates on efficiency and on-time departures. So it's the people who we're least expecting, and certainly it's the customers that you are now expected to build a new digital relationship with. Because while analytics at the management dashboard create a high visibility and makes management happy, bringing it down to everybody else inside and outside your firewall makes them money. And that's an opportunity and a conversation we'd love to have with every executive out there in the world, because most of them understand it once we talk to them about it. But we have to re-educate the industry. And we're building technologies and interfaces that allow everybody to participate. And that'll be a continued journey you'll see throughout. You'll see it through the R&D sessions that Eric Robb and Jim Thorstad, and most importantly, making sure that the data to support that, the data that management needs in a dashboard looks at past trends, the operational decisions that those support workers on the call center and your supply chain partners and your customers need to make have to be much closer to real time, maybe true real time. And technologies like IoT are going to mandate that as well. Doing this on trusted data is something we take very seriously. When we got involved beyond data integration and got involved in data quality management and master data management several years back, we started to realize that these projects are difficult because you start with a goal and then the definition of what we were going to do starts to expand. And scope creep comes into the conversation, into the project. And what you thought you were going to do in 12 months is now 18 months later and it didn't happen. And that's been true of MDM projects throughout the industry. 24 months. Who has the appetite for a 2-year project anymore? Nobody. So the reality is we learned from those issues and those challenges. We built a new methodology to better define the end goal of master data management and a golden record. We built automation, and now we're modeling. We're building models to pre-package and make it easier for you to get started. And we're very proud to see that this year alone, most of the MDM projects that include data quality management and all the integration they need to get that data where they want it, to get it close to perfect, is happening in 4 to 6 months. And a lot of you are sharing those stories this week. That means you could be making better decisions and building analytic projects on trusted data 4 months from now. That sounded like a pipe dream 2 years ago, but that's the reality of what's happening at this conference and the investments we're making in data. The other exciting aspect of what happens is we're starting to package, as Frank said, we're bringing the R&D efforts under one team where data management and analytics and BI come together, and we're packaging those assets together in applications. We started in healthcare. We just introduced last week at the Digital Insurance Conference our new version of IPF, the Insurance Performance Foundation. It's called Omni Insurance. And our property and casualty customers, actually, it was the busiest booth last night at the show, I heard. So you guys are excited about that because having that single view of customer model built in to those metrics is much more valuable, much more valuable. We've hired experts in law enforcement because many of you, like you saw from York Police, we've built great custom solutions over the world, and we're starting to package those assets, and we're bringing people with expertise in these verticals. And we're not going to do that in every vertical because we've got partners that you're meeting here at the show who have that expertise, and we're going to build it with them. So we're changing the way we go to market in many of these aspects. But it's all being done with the merging of trusted data and analytics that are easier to build and consume. So when you talk about scale, it's not just about how many people. We do run the largest deployments in the world. In this room, one customer has more user IDs on our web focus platform than all the user base probably of Tableau, Qlik, and Power BI combined. That's impressive, right? We do things on a different scale, and we build them for operational purposes and needs that everybody can leverage. But people don't look like blue and purple stick figures, do they? They look like this, right? The most successful applications are the ones that go down to the people who are typically underserved. And they might be in the shop floor, they might be driving the trucks and delivering product to your customer, closest to the customer. They might be wearing a call center, headgear. It could be the patrol officer, probably the orderlies in the hospital have no idea how they were performing. But now when they have a dashboard, all of a sudden the metrics change and the performance changes, and we can turn around a bed faster for incoming patients. I get an opportunity, and thank you, Frank, I get the opportunity to travel around the world and meet many of our customers. The gentleman, Joe Bedouin, and Michael Haggerty at Lipari Foods gave me a tour of their warehouses. And Lipari is really, really proud of their business and how they're expanding their distribution nationwide with all of their food products. But they're really proud because they showed me everything they do is driven by technology. They buy forklifts that generate IoT data that tell them everything about the driver performance, the load, the balance of and the weight of the products, and where they put them. Why do they put the best-selling products closest to the bay? Because they have that intelligence. And then the truck drivers and everything they do in the trucks. They know if that truck driver snapped in the seatbelt or didn't. They know they're running 5 minutes behind schedule at any given time. They have that kind of intelligence in the new world of IoT. This is not a massive company, but this is an innovative company. And you're only limited by your own innovations. The dashboards that drive the excellence at Lipari Foods are not just the ones on the management desk. Throughout the warehouse, you see these 80-foot screens where every employee looks up in real time and sees how they're doing. And that drives them to have a good shift, a good day. And good days drive good quarters. And good quarters drive a successful business. Every employee plays a role. Inform them. I'm preaching to the choir because you guys taught us this, right? And the interface is probably not an analytic tool for them, and it's not a dashboard. It's apps, it's portals, it's interactive documents, it's now infographics, a new way of telling stories, especially to your customers. It's how we're embedding AI and machine learning into applications and insights that they can use. And it's giving them, as Joe showed you, the voice and the text. So all of these things come together to make it easier and easier to use. And ultimately, it comes down to one thing. It's not that group versus the top group. It's when you can bring it all together. Because what every organization needs to do, to Frank's point, to survive and thrive in the future is how you leverage data and analytics to build a better company. And those that do that will align on strategy and execution throughout the organization better than anyone. And those are the market leaders of the future. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Michael, thank you. Fantastic job. Again, another Information Builders employee who spends a lot of time out in the customer talking about their solutions, their problems, and our solutions jointly with them. It's always great when we have customer use cases and we bring it to life here. So let me ask, how are we doing? How are we thinking about things that are relevant to you? Are we hitting the mark? Is Eric and Michael and me and our team thinking about the future the right way? What do you think? Oh, come on. We need to do better than that. Eric, we're looking for your replacement now if they can't do better than that. That's cool. Or maybe my replacement. What we want to do now, as we sort of bring the keynote session to a close, is recap, first of all. We want to talk about some of the things that we'd like to have resonate, some of the things you're going to see throughout the next 2 or 2.5 days at this summit. Want to remind you that the way you get the most out of this summit is engaging as a community, a user group, or a council. This is really a training venue more than anything else, and we have put a lot of thought and effort into the sessions that are training. We have our customer support, customer service center just down the hall. Leverage them for learnings and dialogue. And what I want to leave you with are the elements of, as you think about the future, there are things we have to understand about how we build today. The future doesn't happen upon us, we build it. The time when ROI was spend a lot of money on software, build something for a 1.5 years, and hope for an ROI 18 months from now, those days are gone. What we're building with our clients today is quick return on investment because the applications get used in business today. Scale. Scale is such an overused word in all businesses, particularly ours. Everybody says they scale, and everybody can tell a story about what their definition of scale is. And when you have that dialogue, I submit that you should test it and you should question it. Because if scale is limited to the number of users and the speed of a point-in-time application, then you're missing the boat, or your partners or vendors are missing the boat that what scale is really about. And regardless of the size of organization you have, this is going to be relevant. Scale is all about integrating data from every single relevant source to you. It's about trusting that data, doing all the complexities. The hard work is right there, all the complexities of making your data trusted. And then once you're there, the future is yours. Deploy in whatever format that is relevant to you, because now you can leverage the elements of the future in your architecture. And so we're proud of what we're building. We're not shackling our data in resident memory stores. We're doing this real time. And the next part of this conversation is going to engage our customers. And so let me bring up Melissa Trier. Actually, before I do that, Melissa, we're going to preface you with a video. Rosnet, another customer of ours, we're proud of this relationship. If you're a successful restaurant, your managers are probably using a Rosnet store system to run their restaurant and their franchise effectively. And so roll the video for us, and that'll introduce Melissa.
Jeff and Steve are friendly competitors. They both own and operate a group of restaurants spread across their city. They get together once a week for a lively game of racquetball, and each one loves to win. But both Jeff and Steve have a problem. The rising cost of food and labor are taking a major bite out of their profits. They're not sure what to do to fix it. Who has the time to compile and analyze a bunch of data to turn it into actionable information? They're busy enough just running the day-to-day operations. But Steve discovers Rosnet, the one-of-a-kind restaurant management solution. Rosnet is a comprehensive software platform that helps restaurants control cost. But unlike other solutions, Rosnet maintains the system so that restaurants get maximum results with minimum effort. Steve can analyze labor cost so that he can manage a large number of employees across many different restaurant locations. Give your restaurants the ultimate competitive advantage. Realize the benefits of comprehensive data management designed with your unique business in mind. Discover what companies like Burger King, IHOP, Denny's, Applebee's, Panera Bread, Chili's, and other major restaurants use as their solution. Visit rosnet.com today.
Eric Tui. I'm the Vice President of Information Technology at Swisher International. Swisher International is the world's largest manufacturer of cigars. We also make vapor products, smokeless products, and some premium products. The biggest challenge we had was the truth, finding a single truth. We had 4 or 5 different ERPs, all of them had different data, and everybody was using Excel to create their own truth. We had no single repository that we could pull any of that information together on, and people would show up in meetings with totally different answers to the same question. We looked at all the major players, Tableau, Click, Power BI, Halo. We looked at all of them, some very nice technologies. But what we were really looking for was a complete BI tool, not just the visualization part, not just the ETL part, but a tool that not only gave us all of that functionality, but a platform that we could grow from and develop applications from. The biggest investment and value that we're getting out of Information Builders is that we're able to take all this information now, consolidate it into that single truth that I mentioned, and then develop insights and push those insights out to our folks in the field, increasing sales, making us more efficient, and also just giving us a clear and transparent picture of our business, which we really haven't had before. What we love about Information Builders is it's a term that I use with everybody that I mentor. I use it with our teams, and I also use it with our other partners. And I say, you just need to be who you say you are. And Information Builders is who they say they are.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Melissa Trier. I am the Vice President of Product Sales for Information Builders. It's such a pleasure to be with you today. I think I speak for all of us at Information Builders. The most rewarding part of our work, of our job, is working with you, our customers. It's incredibly satisfying when we see you take and leverage the investment that you make with us to drive your respective organizations forward. And it's enormously rewarding when we see you do things that you didn't even think were possible. So it's such a pleasure to highlight some of the customer successes that we've had over the past few years with the panelists. You've seen a little bit on the video clips about them, but we really want to take a few minutes to understand a little bit more in depth about their world, what they've done, their journey, some of the lessons learned, so we can all take away, I think, some valuable things from their journeys and certainly their success. So to get started, I'm going to ask each one of them to introduce themselves, their role with their respective organization, and just a little bit high level. Certainly the video did some highlighting of that, but a high level of how you're leveraging and using Information Builders technology today. So Patrick, I'll start with you.
Sounds great. There we go. My name is Patrick Bobrukowitz. I'm the Director of Business Development at Rosnet. Sounds super salesy, and while I do oversee our marketing and sales business development side, I also oversee our implementation team, and so I got to be the SE for the longest period of time, and do still work a lot with our development team. We have many of our developers here today, so chat with them later on about any of the technical stuff because I won't know. But then also get to influence a lot of the product design. Our business has always been about taking really complicated amounts of data, very large, vast amounts of data, and making them simple enough to where someone who, IT isn't their thing in life, they're running restaurants, flipping burgers, making sure people show up on time, making sure that they can do that stuff really easily.
Wonderful. Thank you, Patrick. And Patrick really represents the partner side of our organization today because they leveraged our technology, embedded that technology in a SaaS solution, and offer that solution to their respective restaurant customers. So we're really happy to have you. Eric.
Good morning. Eric Toohey, the Vice President of Technology for Swisher International. And as the video said, we are the world's largest manufacturer of cigars. Sometimes that's good for people, and sometimes it's not. It doesn't matter. I've joined Swisher about 4 years ago. We brought in IBI about 3 years ago. The truth that I talked about earlier, I could not do it justice by saying that we had multiple truths. The first month I was there, I literally went to 10 meetings where we talked about the exact same decision that needed to be made. And each time, the 6 or 7 other people that were in that meeting all brought their own data about the same exact data point, and they were all completely different. So it took forever to make a decision, and then you weren't confident that decisions were being made. So we brought IBI in. The partnership truly was a partnership. We used them as our business intelligence platform, our reporting platform. We have integrated them and embedded them into our ERP, which for us is NetSuite. And it now has become just part of the Swisher ecosystem. One thing earlier, we talked about adoption. We have thousands of people spread across the world, and to get to train them, I don't have a budget to train all those, so we needed a tool that was very, very user intuitive and easy to pick up. And one of the things that we did as an organization is we just decided to stop talking about technology. Nobody in IT talks about technology. You won't hear us talk about servers. You won't hardly ever hear us use the word information builders or web focus. But we have thousands of people using web focus and they don't even know it. And so it's just about what they need to get the business done. And so it's become an integral part of what we do.
Fantastic. Thank you, Eric. Great to have you. And last but certainly not least, Greg from York Regional Police in Canada.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you to IBI and all the great team here who invited us to be a part of this. And my role at York Regional Police is the Manager of Business Intelligence, and I was kind of appointed to bring data to the masses in our organization. As you saw in our video, and as you can imagine, police agencies are drowning in data. It's an opportunity because there's a lot to work for us there. There's a lot of information we can make a difference with, but to put it in the hands of our officers and to kind of flip the problem around from having officers query old systems for data and have to look for that information, we flipped that on its head and said we're going to provide the officers with the information they need as quickly and easily as possible. So again, we can aid in adoption, but more importantly, keep our community safe.
Fantastic, thank you. So let's start at the beginning. Most customers typically engage information builders for an initial project, an initial use case. So help us understand what that initial use case was, and then how the use of the technology of the platform then extended and continued to extend throughout the organization. Any one of you can start with that. You want to take a stab at that?
Sure. I mentioned earlier that the single truth was kind of the business problem we first attacked. But the way we got started down this journey was looking at a strategic way to transform our business. We're a 150-plus-year-old company, we sell in 90 countries, multiple languages, multiple currencies. We've got every challenge that everyone here deals with. So to come in and digitally transform a company, we knew we needed a solid reporting foundation because, I kid you not, I would sit there in the first month that I was there, and this young lady every morning would walk down my aisle with this cart full of paper, and it was stacked, 2.5 feet high. We were 4 years ago, we were still distributing paper reports. So that was quite the problem. But strategically, we needed to have a platform that would not only be a BI tool take care of our traditional reporting, but also grow with us. And then that takes time, right? We all know the big investment you need to make, the amount of time, the technology that you need to do that. But we needed some quick wins because if we were going to turn an organization around that wasn't adapt to change, being 150 years old, we needed to have some quick wins. And so one of the things we partnered with IBI on was leveraging some of their in-document analytics. So we have about, in the continental U.S., we have about 350 sales folks who are amazing. And at Swisher, we do a lot of great stuff. But there's two things that we do better than anybody else in the world. One is we make cigars, and two is we sell cigars better than anybody else in the world. So we figured that if we could get either group to do more of what they do best, the world's going to get better for us. So we tackled the sales force. And of those 350 amazing people, every morning they get up, they go into their car, they open up their laptop, and they start looking at these reports that used to come on paper that were at least this thick. They would search through those for customers. They would search for those for which orders are on hold, which problems do they have, because they would need to set up their day to figure out which customers are they going to go see, how much time do they have to go talk to each one, and yada, 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 all the stuff that they got to do. So what we figured out in talking to them was it took about an hour, for some 2 hours, to get through all of the data that they needed, of which only a small part of it was what they actually were going to use. And then they could go plan their day. So we figured if we took 350 sales folks, gave them an hour of their time back, if you do the math, that adds up to be about 42 full-time salespeople a year. Well, our salespeople average in the realm of about $10 to $15 million of sales a year. I don't have enough fingers, but that's a lot of money if we can get them to do more of what they do. So we started with in-document analytics, and now each salesperson, it gets a customized report pushed to them through the scheduler, exactly what they need and how they need, highlights exactly what they need to focus on, so that hour to 2 hours now takes them about 5 to 10 minutes. It was an instant hit. The excitement across the organization was phenomenal. The IT team, the business team finally got together on something, and it became now, what else can we go do? And it has been a tremendous journey. It's one success after another, and I could sit up here all day and as Melissa knows, talk through all of those. But it has truly helped us be the company that we are.
That's wonderful. It's a great use case, and it highlights one of the unique technology enablers that Information Builders provides. Happens to be a patented technology of ours, so it continues to be such a strong differentiator. So anyone out there that's not leveraging in-document analytics, it's a great use case. There's a number of other ones. You probably want to think about adding that to your list to get started. Patrick, Greg?
Yeah, I can go.
Yeah, absolutely.
At Rosnet, it was also a really strategic question of what do we do? We are an engineering company, and we have a lot of our company is based as software engineers, whether ETL side to go get the data, or the web tier to produce reports for it, or anything else in the middle too with any of the applications. And so for us, it was really a question of almost doing the buy versus build. Well, what kind of software? And if you ask yourself this as a software company, what kind of software should your engineering team be writing? And the answer is really the software that only they can write. only in their expertise that they can build quickly and efficiently. And so for us, we had spent a lot of time building a reporting layer and another amount of time building a dashboarding tool. And our dashboarding tool, I'm going to be up here and pat on the shoulder here, our dashboarding tool was actually better than most of information builders' competitors out there in the space. We had one of the competitors, we looked at 10 different software packages when we were making the decision. And one of them literally came to us and said, why are you guys trying to build a dashboard, or why are you guys trying to buy a dashboard solution? You already have a really great one. And this is the sales guy telling us that, and I was like, someone needs to take you back to sales school. I don't think that's how that's supposed to work. And so ours was a deployment across some probably 25 to 30,000 end users, where scale really actually did matter to us, and that was something that kicked players off of the island immediately. When we went through, when we were looking at it, we also needed something that had a strong back end, the metadata layer, all the information that you can find there to do the data associations, because again, our clients are not the most tech savvy, people who are going to go build their own queries and things like that. But then also the presentation layer. We needed them both, and we needed them both in one package, and that kicked another lot of the players off of the island, so to speak. And so by the time we got down to it, it really was information builders' ability to partner with us, walk us through the security, walk us through the data, things like that we were going to need to make sure that our initial launch of the product was super successful. And now, as you're saying, like they wake up in the morning and whatever they're looking at. One of our clients said, and he owns a lot of IHOP restaurants. He called on his area directors one morning and said, hey, what did you guys have for breakfast? And one of the guys said, bacon. He's like, no, Rosnet. You had Rosnet for breakfast, because they have to have that every single morning, right, to get up and run their day. So that's why we chose to partner with information builders.
Fantastic. And so approximately user-wise, what's your user count up to? I read 20,000, is that?
It's probably closer to 30 these days, 30,000. Yeah, and we have another application where we started to write some reports off of, and I think there's 120,000 users in that application. So we'll continue to grow the number of endpoints, people who are viewing information from Rosnet that's built on the Information Builders platform.
That's great. And you feel free to mention who those other players were that we knocked out. I mean, if you want to, Patrick.
Burst, Tableau, Click, MicroStrategy, Cognos.
I love it. Thank you. Love it. Love to hear that. Greg.
It's just kind of funny as I was listening to these use cases. You might find it interesting. I never would have thought a police officer started their day very similar to a cigar salesman, because similar scenario.
We're mainstream.
Yeah, similar scenario. Officers would start their day in a police car, maybe grab a coffee at the start of shift, and then maybe wait for their day to unfold and come to them. And something that the message we provided and the opportunity we gave them was to use data to actually drive their day. And as we were talking this week with some of your great staff, we talked about using data analytics in the police cars like fishing with a fish finder. Officers within 2 or 3 clicks were now finding all the wanted people who lived in their patrol beat or in their sector, and to know that information builders with the BI team at York Regional Police are actually contributing to the safety of the community just by empowering officers, really taking care of who our clients are, and making them more effective, because officers, most people resist change and resist technology. But when you make their job, their lives easier, and more importantly, more rewarding by helping them catch the bad guy. None of them, went to police college to learn about dashboards, right? They went there to learn how to shoot a gun, how to drive a car real fast. So when you see propeller heads come into a room as an officer, you kind of turn off and you don't want to talk to us. But giving them tools that made a difference and seeing them actually use it means we did, we figured it out, we did the right thing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We have a thing within Information Builders and talking about, we love driving performance for our customers, but we also really like the idea of using data for good. And you certainly exemplify that when you're using data more effectively to keep your community safer, save lives, ultimately. And that's incredibly rewarding for us as well as a result of the partnership. So moving on, one of the questions that often comes up from all of you is that handshake, if you will, between business and IT. Sometimes that's a lot easier said than done, but it is essential, we find, to a very successful deployment, adoption, and trust across the organization. I think Michael mentioned business-ready data. Business-ready data doesn't exist unless that handshake is in place between business and IT. So I'd like to understand, I think the rest of the audience would as well, some challenges that you maybe had in developing that handshake, developing that trust between business and IT, and how you overcame some of the challenges and some of the good strategies that you put in place to facilitate that exchange. So anyone, welcome to start on that one. Patrick.
Yeah, I'll get started on this one. This one's going to be super easy from the Rosnet side. Use cases. We didn't talk a lot about all of the use cases that we needed early on, and so what that resulted in is we went into it saying, hey, security and the metadata were the two most important things. They were going to be the foundation of what we were going to work off of, and then we started development of a lot of the optics to run off of the data, only then to have the business come back in and say, oh wait, but we needed to see it buy this other thing, buy this other thing, buy this other thing, and by the time that we had done that 2 or 3 times, we realized, well, now we've had to update the set of optics and then update the set of optics, and you continue on with this path, and it's really just because at the very beginning, and I'm more on the business side, so I'll take the blame for this, we didn't say, oh, hey, at the end game of this, the end optic really ought to be able to support all of these things. So I think that saying, hey, data has to come first, it does, but really, what is that data going to drive in the optic? If you can't answer that before you start with your ownership team, your business team, the operations team, whatever that is, if you can't, whatever drives your revenue, if you can't get that answer from them to like say, what do we need to do? Don't start the project yet. Like, because you're ultimately going to make something that's not going to be as fulfilling to them as is needed. So that would be my recommendation, is make sure you know what the end user is going to consume, and end users, because there are multiple tiers of them, make sure that you know what your end users are going to be able to consume, and then have your data team really start architecting that data appropriately so it can really hum.
Fantastic, that's great advice. Greg, I know you have some good thoughts on this.
Yeah, we actually took a very different approach with respect to BI in an environment. We actually separated. I came out of IT. I was moved out of IT with a few other people in on my team to focus on business intelligence and data as a goal, rather than tack that on to our IT department, who are so busy in tax keeping the lights on of the CAD systems, the RMS systems, and you name it, all the other systems that they're already responsible for. So many IT organizations start and end all their work. You know, they're all treated as projects. And our organization decided we weren't going to treat BI and data analytics as a project with a start and an end, because there was always an end with IT, a handoff to someone. We realized there was no one to hand BI off to if we didn't create a BI team. And we're not the only organization to have a BI team, but it's important for us to recognize there is a separation, but still a great relationship with from our BI team to IT. And I'd like to say that probably what aided the implementation and the improvement of the relationship between IT and BI was IBI. Information Builders actually, because the solution was so easy to implement, the solution was the best of the breed that we looked at. It was our IT department actually selling us on IBI. When they were looking at the specs and the scalability and the security and all of that, they actually, you know, I thought I would have to kind of sell you guys, but they were actually selling me on IBI, which was incredible, and a testament to, you know, your product, your team, and everyone that you brought in to work with us, because they made it so much easier for us that you know, it just kind of morphed into a great relationship.
That's fantastic. One question I did want to ask Greg is, you know, that operationalizing aspect, you really exemplify, you know, up to 2,000 police officers that leverage the technology on a daily basis. How did you go about enabling those officers and making sure that they were comfortable and confident? I mean, ease of use is certainly key, but what kind of strategies did you leverage within York to really drive that adoption and ensure that adoption across the organization?
Number one was consultation. We consulted with every officer type, every officer role in our organization from top down. Starting with the top, we sold the potential, the value of data to the top. So I think many BI projects fail when you do not have support right from the top of the organization. So the top, our chief, our deputy chiefs, were major supporters and bought in very early. They had presentations from your company before we even knew what BI was. And it was that relationship that really started them to help them support us. And then we started going through all those use cases, as was mentioned earlier, building out those use cases with officers. And then finally, we embedded officers on our team to ground us and make sure everything we produced was for an officer, not for a technical person, not for an analyst only. Products that look really great and were flashy, but confuse people, right? So we had officers to keep us grounded, and that really aided in the adoption. And then our training strategy involved officers. We train trainers who were officers, and then we step back and let the officers do their thing, because no one can kind of really tell a story of what an officer should do with a product except for another officer, right? It's quite a leap.
Yeah, fantastic. That's really excellent. Eric, do you have anything to add on the handshake between business and IT? You represent IT on the panel today. You're certainly
Yes.
On both sides of you have the business
Don't hold that against
perspective.
Frank had mentioned something earlier, and it was about being easy. So in our world, and Tony Maldonado, who's here with me as part of Swisher, will tell you that everything we do is to make it easy for our users to do the things that they do best. So easy is a major, major theme. And in order to get that adoption, we had to make sure that it was easy. And that, as I mentioned earlier, the other kind of ancillary piece to that is that we stopped having IT projects. BI is not an IT project. IBI, and Employee Web Focus, is not an IT project, as a lot of people have seen, and there's a theme about that throughout yesterday, today, and the next couple of days. So we actually kind of became very transparent. We told the user community what they already knew, that when you needed something done from Swisher IT, it took a minimum of 30 days. If you needed a change to a report, minimum of 30 days.
It's pretty good.
They thought so. And at the time, you're just not going to run a business like that. So we had to make sure that we could convince them that, hey, you could do this a lot better than IT can. Let us show you how you can take ownership of your data, ownership of your own intelligence, ownership of your own insights. And you don't need to call IT. Now, we're there to help you, and we're going to get a lot better at this, I promise you. But I need you to take that ownership. And once we used a tool like this and showed them how easy it was, and easy gets thrown out a lot, we made it ultra easy. And Tony, I don't know where he's at today, but Tony will tell you, we beat that into the IT team. It needed to be not only easy, but ultra easy. You shouldn't have to think about where your data is or what tool you're in. Just ask for it, and you should get it. So we built all that using IBI. And that's how we got the camaraderie and the collaboration that goes on today. That was all in preparation for our ERP project, because ERP project ended up being so much easier to do with our business because we were already embedded with them and we were already one group. And as I tell our IT group, we're not going to be a better company if our business associates know more about IT. We will be a better company if our IT group knows more about our business. Yeah. So we changed our organization, changed our structure, and now everybody in the IT department, their annual compensation is based on how much time they spend in the business, not working on IT. It has helped that. People in the business now know the names of people in IT, which before that was not happening. So that was the big piece. And then again, if you pick the right tools and you have the right processes in place and the right partners to help you, then the rest is easy. But it's making it easy to make it easy.
It just reminds me of a joke I saw and I shared with our team that applications are like jokes. If you have to explain them, they're not that good.
Agreed.
That's fantastic. So I think we could stay up here all day, but we do have other things that we need to get to. So I'd like to ask one closing question to all of you. And really, it's what's next. We're talking a lot about the innovations that Information Builders is working on. We're very excited about the pace and the speed in which we're bringing new offerings and technologies to market. We talked a lot about AI, machine learning, Cloud is something that's very integral into our plans as well, that cloud-first mentality. So what's next for all of you? What's on the horizon? What next project or initiative are you looking to tackle when it comes to data and analytics? Sure.
I'll go. So we're already in cloud, so that's kind of, to us, old news. So we love being in the cloud, and we're not exclusively in the cloud, but cloud-first mentality. But what next for us is predictive and prescriptive analytics, the machine learning, and variations of AI, which seem to get muddied in the definitions. But what we're doing that's next for us is now taking this intelligence and putting it into our manufacturing floors. So right now we have machines that make cigars, that sit in a factory. And we have ladies and gentlemen that manage those machines. They can tell you when that machine just starts to hum differently, that our yield's going to go down by 5% for the next 2 hours, and they're going to need to service it in the next 2 days. They know all that. We've got to build that into a tool that now we can be predictive and we can be prescriptive what to do, and then quantify that in the business, because it will take an act of God to get a manufacturer to turn off a machine. But when you can show that manufacturer that turning off the machine now, working on it for 30 minutes, are going to increase your yield for that day or that week or that month by 5-10%, it's a lot different kind of conversation. And in that conversation, we never talk about technology.
Right.
It's all about the business. So that's the exciting part that's on the horizon for us, plus just getting that insight to our remote people faster, quicker, better. And like I said, our company has moved our business analytics group into the business. So they're not in IT, which is not uncommon, but they do an incredible job with the tools that they have. They've totally changed the conversation that we have with our customers. Before it was like, hey, you bought 100,000 of these, you want 100,000 again next year. And with our brand being strong, that's pretty much the way it worked. Well, now they go in and say, here's what you bought last year, but let me tell you what your competitors are doing in a 15-mile radius. Here's what they're buying that you're not. So that means there's a demand. If you want to drive more people to your store, your convenience store, here's what you need to go do. So we've totally changed that using that insight. So it's getting it to them quicker, faster, better.
Fantastic. Patrick, what about you guys at Rosnet?
Very, very similar. Really super similar. We're going to want to look at prescriptive and predictive analytics for our restaurant operations teams. No CEO, COO, vice president, or anything like that has anything to do with how much money they made that day in the store in that very moment. So the quicker that we can tell someone, hey, you have a problem on the floor, which we're loading data, throughout the restaurants in every 15-minute increment, and if we can tell that manager who's running that shift, hey, here's how you can make that extra $5, that extra $6, and in restaurants, penny margins. They really are super low. Anywhere where we can tell them that operationally, we want to be able to do that. Now, for the more data analyst and senior team members and stuff like that, we're also in a huge push to give them access to their data. So we have in our system, being almost like their industry-specific ERP, we have probably about 80% of the data that they would normally interact with or do analytics on. So for us, it's all about taking the extra connectors, the extra opportunities to whether we house that data for them, keep it local to them, whatever that case may be, to utilize tools like IA, things like that, to bring in, let them create their own analytics, deliver them back through our platform, and stuff like that. So those are our biggest focuses, I think, over the next couple of years.
Next couple of years. I was going to, what's
Yeah.
the time frame
I
on
was
that?
going to, right now we're working on a release of the new dashboards. We're moving actually from RDF to 8205, and what we'll need to do, we've already have probably 8 or 10 clients who are utilizing IA for their own business. So we're not even doing the analytics for them. We're giving them access to do it themselves and build their own content. We need to make it where that can deploy back through the 8205 dashboards after they do that, even being in a separate data environment, because we don't want them to take down our production servers.
Fantastic. Yeah,
So-
it's your business, right?
Exactly.
Can't take those down. That's
Leave
great.
those up, please.
That's fantastic. Greg, how about you guys?
So couple things on the go, and we're planning. Number one, we're planning to work with the DEET. We've got some meetings planned and discussions already happening around machine learning and enhancing our ability to digest and automate some processes. But we're working to hopefully productize this great partnership we have with your company on natural language processing. So we are automatically ingesting unstructured data from intelligence reports, people, places, things, automatically running those people, places, things on our records management system, providing that intelligence. So what was unstructured information, which you'd have to read documents for and manually code, to now automatically provide that to our intelligence officers, our intelligence groups, organized crime groups, and all of that, to provide that information, enabling them to now identify relationships, complex organized crime relationships that will really make a difference, not only in York Region, but we have a lot of interest from OPP, RCMP, and a lot of other major agencies in Canada, which we really hope will just improve community safety and, again, keep everyone safe.
And we're very excited about working on that with you. Incredibly excited. Within the next, hopefully, couple of months, we'll get some things going on that. Well, I can't thank you all enough. Your success is really inspirational. Hopefully it inspired some of you today. You'll be here throughout the conference, so I'd recommend all of you, as you see these gentlemen, stop them in the hallway, ask them your own questions. I know that they all would be incredibly happy to share additional insights with you about their success. But thank you very much, and commend you all and celebrate your success. Thank you.
Salon 8, 145.
So with that, I'd like to bring Frank, oh, there you are. Frank back up on the stage, because we'd like to recognize each and every one of you with an award of recognition, and we'd like to present those now.
Fantastic. I took notes. You're so impressive, and you're like a proud parent when you know you're a partner with your client. I spent several years in Silicon Valley with every founder and startup that said, how are we going to change the world? And we're going to deliver this bit of security software that changes the world. We're going to do video applications that changes the world. And we're humble here at Information Builders, but I think we're changing the world on how people work and how people police and how people save lives or do healthcare, and it's impressive. And some of the things that resonate are customers talking about our features in document analytics, things that are really hard, made easy. What I love is IT doesn't talk tech. IT is compensated to understand the business. And we talk a lot about how are we the bridge between IT and business. And that's not an easy dynamic to bridge. Many organizations have sales strategies that are, we encompass IT, or we're all about the business unit. But the bridging of the two is really, really important. Talk about scale, and I wanted to take scale away from just the number of users, but let's admit it, 200,000 users, 120,000 users, our software doesn't break, and that's important. The client, whoever that is not a technologist. And so we talk about ease of use, and we talk about all of the elements of easy, and understanding what you're building data sets for, what your outcomes are, and appreciating that your users are not technologists, and enabling them in their jobs so their jobs are more rewarding. You're relevant, you're doing a great job, and we're proud to have you here. Thanks so much.
So with that, it's our pleasure to do a word of distinction to Rosnet, Swisher International, and York Regional Police.
Thank you very much.
We'll present them all at once. Take a picture.
Okay, cool. Yeah, anybody that you need?
Yeah, any of your other team that you'd like to bring up for a photo opportunity, we're happy to have them on stage.
All together.
So Rosnet.
Hold on.
Sorry, right here. I've got it. I'm sorry.
The Swisher guys.
We thought we'd do one group shot.
Cool. One
Bring
picture with
everyone
everybody?
together. Yep.
Okay, guys, in the center.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
and congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Greg. Good to see you. Scott? Franco? Thank you so much. All right. So we said at one stage at the beginning of this that it was really important that after this general session you made the most out of this event and the training and sessions that are of value. And it wouldn't be, we wouldn't be having as much fun if we weren't helping you roadmap and guide through how to make this the best. So we have Terry White, Vice President in Marketing Department, that is going to help walk you through the next 2.5 days. Terry?
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Okay, so are we ready? I think we're ready, right? So it is my pleasure now to turn it over to you guys and offer some suggestions to have a very memorable summit. So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were interviewing David Letterman, so I thought, how about top 10 tips for a great summit? So let's go. Number 10. It might seem simple, might seem a little obvious, but we've all come here with a wanting to get something particular, something specific out of this week, right? You have a particular problem you want to solve, a challenge to meet. So pick the right session, seek out the right experts and the right experts in the expert room, and make sure that you leave here achieving your personal and professional goals. How many folks have already downloaded the Summit app? Yay, fantastic. So for the rest of you, go to your respective app store, download it. There's tons of great stuff on there. You can customize your agenda, network, have a great time, so get on that. Number 8, this is really the heart of Summit, right? Getting into the nitty-gritty, hands-on with the products. There's data labs, analytics labs. There's these enterprise super sessions happening on Friday, and encourage everyone to take advantage. Even if the labs are full, and I'm pretty sure they are, they're standing room, so definitely check it out. Number 7, I started the day this morning with a little yoga, and it's happening again tomorrow. So we really want you to stretch not only your body, but your mind, your imagination, and there's so many ways to do that at Summit. These are just a few of the trending topics that are happening, and so get out of your comfort zone, meet some new people, talk about some new stuff, learn new things. It's all happening. This one, number 6, it's really about inspiration, and we're so grateful for the customers and partners here today sharing your stories. Those stories were fantastic and definitely inspirational about how data and analytics really changes the lives of your employees, your customers, your partners, and the business, and yes, even the world. And talk about inspiration. We have a real treat in store tomorrow for the closing keynote. John Foley, a former pilot of the Blue Angels, is going to, take us, I was going to say get us high, but that doesn't sound right. We're going to be flying high tomorrow with John, so we'll look forward to that. Number 5 is all about social, right? Hashtag IB Summit. We've got such a great conversation happening already, and we really want you guys to participate and amp up the volume. We'd love to be a trending topic on Twitter. And so also the real world, stop by the social lounge. Plenty of friendly people there. It's a cool hip space next to the registration desk. Check it out. You can recharge your phone, have a chit chat. And if you're old school, you can actually write on a graffiti board if you don't want to tweet. So get out your magic marker and give us some inspirational thoughts. And then also in the social lounge, you can get your swag bucks. So we've created lots of ways for you to participate in Summit, doing social media, checking out what's happening in customer experience, the Solutions Pavilion. So when you do that, then you can trade in your swag bucks, and we've got hats, and we've got shirts, we've even got socks, all kinds of cool gadgets. So definitely swag it up. Number 3, you've already had a chance to meet a lot of our solution partners here. We're really grateful and thankful that they're here. Last night at the welcome reception, you have a couple more opportunities to do that today at lunch and then later on today. So definitely explore, mix and mingle, and see what these great vendors and solution partners have to offer. Number 2, we're talking a lot about the future. That's what this conference is about. And that obviously means products and roadmaps and technology. We have our industry analyst friends here talking about emerging topics. But it's also about people. And I wanted to highlight a session that's happening this afternoon on women in technology. And it's about creating more opportunity for women in technology in the field, and also especially in leadership positions. And everyone's welcome to attend, and yes, men, that means you, men and women, because women in technology, in leadership, we really need your support and participation in that conversation. So please try to attend if you can. Thank you. And finally, number 1, just have a great time. Just relax, have a great time. We love having you here. We love being your hosts. And we're going to have a fantastic time tonight at Universal Islands of Adventure. I'll be the one screaming and swearing like a truck driver on the Hulk roller coaster, so you'll see me, and I hope to see you there. But with that, guys, I hand it over to you to go forth and summit. Have an amazing time. Thank you.
Whoa, we're back.
We are back.
How awesome.
The gentleman just got up there and absolutely supported each and every one. So it's more than just marketing speak, it's more than just a claim. Yeah. We're doing it in real life. And I loved also the fact that there's such a variety of organizations, again, that I spoke to before we went on air before. Every organization can figure out a way to effectively leverage the investment with us. So it just makes you feel really good about what we do.
Well, it is, and it's such a unique differentiator, right? Because most organizations do want to be able to deploy to as many people as they can, and they realize very quickly that not all technology can do that.
Right.
And that's something that we do very well, and it's been proven time and time again.
Time and time again.
And it's cool to hear new people talking about it. Right.
But police officers, salespeople, hey, I can tout, salespeople are not the most technical. And then Rosnet, the 20,000, now he's up to 30,000.
30,000, I wrote that down.
Restaurant users, it's really inspirational.
Yeah.
So they all did such a fantastic job. It was such a pleasure to work with them. They hit it out of the ballpark for sure.
Awesome, just awesome. So what's on your agenda for the rest of the day?
Wow, so we definitely have a full packed agenda. We have more one-on-one meetings as attendees go into sessions, but probably what I'm most excited about is our Women in Tech session that we're doing later on this afternoon. I really wish your wife could join us.
Oh.
Some of you may not know, but Chris's wife is an entrepreneur and established her own SaaS company in tech, so she truly is a woman in tech.
And that's not SaaS, the software company, software as a service SaaS.
Yes, exactly. But I wish we need to have her at some point in time. But it's the second annual Women in Tech. Terry mentioned it on her close. We're very excited to have it. We're going to have it later this afternoon and roll right into a happy hour and some good networking. So I'm really excited to be able to be moderating that panel as well later this afternoon.
For folks at home or at their work environment or at Information Builders, what we do here, obviously we do IBTV, but besides that, there's a lot of sessions people can attend, and not just speakers from Information Builders, customer speakers. So I think
definitely worth noting.
Eric isn't speaking, but I know Rosnet is, as well as York Regional Police. They're going to be presenting about what they've done with our technology. So it's a great opportunity to hear from the horse's mouth itself. Labs are always the most popular.
And they're usually packed.
And there's a waiting list to get in, but this is where you get to test drive the latest and greatest. Maybe you're using something in an older release and you'd like to see what the new designer looks like and how that would be. The labs are an awesome time to see that. But it's also networking, right? An opportunity to meet people in your industry that are doing things with the same technology or the same platform, or maybe it's an ERP system that you've got and nobody else has except for this one other person.
Right.
And just asking them, so how did you do it, and what are you doing, and how can we help leverage that?
Yeah, that networking, I think the customer track, the customer sessions are definitely, the labs and the customer sessions, I would say, are the most popular. because people love to hear from their peers on basically what we were doing with the panel. How have
Totally.
you done it? What are your lessons learned? What pitfalls to avoid? And we have those segmented by industry. And we also do what we call birds of a feather breakfast and lunches.
Yep.
So at even those times, kind of the downtime.
Can you do this?
Yeah, I can't. I'm holding my mic, so I can't do that.
That's a bird. I did.
But we put industry, segment by industry in the tables, and so then people can just voluntarily sit down and meet new people and create new networks within their own vertical, which has really been very well received as well.
Absolutely.
So a lot of
It's a cool
sessions,
event.
a lot of fun, and the fun off-site tonight, so it's not all work.
So are we going to see you on a roller coaster
I don't
or
know.
two?
I hope so. I hope so. I'm looking forward. I love roller coasters.
Can
do
I
you
tell
love
you?
roller coasters?
I do. I don't like the spinny rides.
I don't either. They make me throw up.
I have a bad, me too. I have a bad equilibrium and I get seasick.
But you can do this. Just
I
not
can do this. I can't do, I don't know. There's something I can't do and I don't do it very well. But I do, I've never been.
Really?
In all these years, I've never been to Universal.
Well, we should go tonight.
That sounds like a plan.
We should go.
But I'm going to dress down. I'm not wearing a bow tie.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just wear a bow tie and that's it.
No, I don't think that would be a good idea. I think that
Oh.
may make the local papers. But it's a wonderful event because the other thing I want to say about the offsite, it's just us. So we're able to
Pretty
take
cool.
over the entire, there's one section of Universal, and it's a pretty big section, but we don't have to share the park with anybody else. So if you want to go on a ride, if customers want to go on a ride 10 times in a row, they can do that because there's no lines. It's a fantastic party.
What
for
about
us.
Information Builders employees who want to go on a ride 10
Yeah,
times?
you can do that if you
Can
like.
I do that?
Yeah.
I want to cut the line.
Yeah, you can do that.
Or something.
No need to cut the line. No need to cut the line.
Hey, just a reminder for everybody listening, Swisher Internet, I was going to say Swisher International, they are international, are looking for somebody to hire full-time. So if you're interested and you've got a web-focused background and interested in mingling with other departments, check out Focal Point. There's a posting there from Swisher, and I'm sure it's elsewhere as well. But great job opportunity with a great company using our technology.
Yes.
What else we got?
We've got two more, well, really three. So the session officially runs through Friday. So we have enterprise level sessions on Friday, which is going to be exciting. So it's going to be, what I call it's a marathon, not a sprint. We just have to,
How much would it stink to have the last presentation on Friday?
I know, right? And I think that some people start on Sunday and then don't end up until Friday. So it literally takes a village. There's so many of us within Information Builders that come together. We plan for months. We work very hard in putting together what I think is one of the best tech conferences in the industry, for sure.
Absolutely. And we're missing our glue, right? Terry, we're thinking about you. But just to go to show you, it does take a village. We have such an amazing team from our marketing staff that although Terry's not here, they've all stepped up and are keeping everything afloat. So thank you to that team, thank you to Terry, thank you to everybody.
Everybody.
It's always a great conference. Hey, you know what tonight is?
Other than Universal Night?
Yeah.
What's tonight?
I don't know. No, it's the NBA championship. Guess who's playing? Frank mentioned it.
Oh,
Toronto Raptors versus the Golden State Warriors.
I'm getting word that there's going to be a little
secret party
for the Canadians if they want to congregate and watch the game together, which
what
would
if we
be a little
gave
crazy.
out the suite where the party is and let everybody show up?
We could do that.
I could, but I'm not going to do that. But that's exciting, right? Toronto Raptors.
Have they ever been in the playoffs? I didn't even know there was a Toronto.
They've been in the playoffs, but not in the championship.
I didn't even know there was a Toronto Raptors team.
And what's kind of funny, Steph Curry, who's on the Golden State Warriors, his dad, who was an NBA player, Del Curry, who played for the Charlotte Hornets, but ended his career with the Toronto Raptors. So there's a whole
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
a whole
very
connection
cool.
there.
Yeah, how long has the Toronto Raptors been in existence? I don't even know.
Let's just say
and this is
a
basketball,
number
right?
of years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think that long. But
Yeah.
long
all right.
enough.
All right.
Yeah,
well, we
that's
wish
exciting.
them well. I always root for the underdogs.
So our Canadians that are here are very excited about this. So
yeah,
it should be
absolutely,
good.
absolutely. Well,
how are we doing on time?
This is going to be it for us.
We're going to wrap it up.
Yeah,
They're
we're going
giving
to
us
wrap
this.
it up, and we won't be back with you. We're going to be out and about with the rest of the agenda, but we certainly thank you for tuning in. and hope you enjoyed
So
the
question
session.
to our producer, is tomorrow's keynote going to be broadcasted?
It
is not.
So check out John Foley on YouTube. Amazing, inspirational stuff. He's got a lot of
And
stuff
on
out there.
LinkedIn?
And on LinkedIn. Both Chris and I follow him after we
Oh,
met him
he's
for our sales kickoff meeting, and he's
inspirational.
incredible. Kind of the quote of the day, which kind of gets your day started off right. So check him out on YouTube. We won't be back, but we
glad
will
to be
see
here.
you next year. Same time next year.
Isn't
I'll
that
have,
a movie?
And I'll have more pictures of us.
Pictures.
Yes.
I like pictures.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Have a wonderful day. Like we said, see you next year.